Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Reflections. I hope you've had a good week this week. The other day, I was sitting on the couch in our living room with our youngest daughter, Stella, and she looked at the big clock on the wall, and this is what she saw. And if you can read that, it says 4:35. And she looked at that clock and she said, "Daddy, look, it's 7:45." You can see how she got that, I think. Okay. And I, for a moment, looked at the clock to figure out what she was saying, and then I chuckled to myself and I pulled her close and I said, "Yeah, Stella, it is. It's 7:45. That's right." Now, in that moment, I could have corrected her and explained to her how she misread the hands on the clock and how to put the numbers together. But I didn't do that. I brought her closer and said, "Yeah, you're right. That's right." And sort of smiled at her misunderstanding. And then I thought, as my mind often goes to matters of life with God, I thought, isn't that how God is with us? Or at least I hope that's how you perceive God to be. So often in life, we misread the numbers, misread the hands on the clock, so to speak, and misunderstand what time it is, misunderstand important things in life, misunderstand who God is, maybe, or who we are, misjudge other people. Uh, so often we do that, and I don't think God condemns or shames or judges us as we do that. But I think what God does is bring us closer and says, "Yep, that's right," and smiles inside, maybe laughs at us at our attempt to understand things, even though we misread what's right in front of us. I hope that that's your perception of God, because I think that's how God works. And the deal is that Stella will learn how to tell time. She'll figure it out as we teach her. What's important is that we bring her close and embrace her and love her and let her know that we are there as loving parents to her. And we don't have to be parents to do that for one another. We can do that with others. But the important thing is that that's how our relationship with God is, I think. As we live life, we struggle, we misunderstand, we have little faith. Sometimes we have no faith. And the important thing is that we know that God brings us close. And it's in that closeness, in that relationship with God, that we grow in understanding, that we learn to understand what life is about, who God is, how we relate to others. It's not a matter of getting it right. It's about being close to God, in being in His embrace. That's what's important. And God smiles when we misunderstand. God laughs and brings us close when we struggle to perceive what life is about, to read the time correctly. It makes me think of this passage in the book of Hosea, the prophet in the Old Testament. He says this: "When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. And the more I called them, the further they went from me. They kept sacrificing to other gods. They burned incense to other idols. But it was I who taught them to walk. And I took them up in my arms, and they didn't even know that I healed them. I led them with human kindness, with cords of love. I treated them like those who lift infants to their cheeks. I bent down to them and fed them." God, like a loving parent, brings us in. As He did with the Israelites, so He does with us. Brings us into His embrace, to His care, even though we misunderstand, even though we wander, even though we completely ignore God. God still pulls us close, and it's in that relationship that we learn who we are and who God is. My prayer today for you is that you would know that as a truth and that you would live that in your life. God's blessings to you today. We'll see you soon.